So, Mariette, do you think there's a definite time that we're supposed to have our careers and everything figured out?
Abso-freaking-lutely not. I think we need to be delightfully unhinged in the pursuit of finding what sets our soul on fire. And until we find it, go out, go explore, and enjoy the journey. Hey guys, and welcome to Adult by Default. Eva, how are we doing today?
We're doing great. We're ready to dive in.
Yes.
We've got an amazing episode planned for you guys. Today, we are going to be talking about jobs, career, and reinventing yourself. We're very excited. How are you doing?
I am great. I am very excited about my dinner plans. I went to the supermarket.
Ooh.
I bought some vegetables, some meat. So excited to cook that after recording the pod, and also looking forward to our conversation today. As we know, I just got a new job, which is very exciting, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Finding a job is very hard.
Yes.
And, whether you are a college student trying to find an internship, or a recent college grad trying to find that level entry job, or just someone that has a job right now and is trying to find another job, like, the job market is brutal, and, finding a job is a job in itself. So
true.
So true. And so excited about what we're speaking today. Want to start out by talking about what was our experience looking and finding that first job, and was it what we expected?
I think, like you said, it felt very much like a job in itself. I think that when you're in school and you have a part-time job or even an internship, it's a very different experience. And I think that those types of jobs are more readily available. You have your school, your college fairs, everything that you can go to the career center and they'll hook you up with a job. You can go to anywhere and it's a lot easier. It is still hard, but it's a whole different thing when you're entering the adult workforce.
Yep.
And I set aside, honestly, almost a 9-to-5 to just applying. Yeah. I had an Excel sheet where I tracked all of my applications, if I got interviews, all of that. And it was many hundreds of applications, and you really don't realize how many it's going to be. I don't think that that's always been the case, but I think just the past couple of years.
Since the pandemic.
It's become so many more. I saw this girl who had done, I think, 2,000 applications or something like that online. Yeah, she went through
2,000? How many did she? Because you get ghosted. That's the thing nowadays.
Yeah. They just won't respond.
They won't respond. Like, you apply and and you have that spreadsheet. I've never been good at, like, having a spreadsheet and putting, except when I applied for internships, and it got so bad because it does mess with your head, because you're applying and you don't hear from anyone. And I do see, like, a lot of people doing that, but it's just so tough to keep up, try to find a job. Also, if you currently have a job, that already takes up so much time. Or if you're a college student, you're studying 24/7, and then you have to, like, look for an actual job or other jobs. And it messes with your head because you have already so much going on in your life, and then you're getting ghosted. You don't hear back. And it's interesting because I was reading this article which said, the job market isn't bad. It's actually just, it's very competitive. And these different companies are making it really hard for people to get jobs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was my experience too. And then I think for a lot of it, they would say entry level, but it would say 1 to 3 years experience required. Yep. And you still apply, right? Yep. But it's very difficult. How do you have 2 years experience if already?
They don't want to even hire you.
Yeah, and when you're just graduating college, how do you already have 2 years of full-time relevant job experience?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that. And then finally, you find someone who takes a chance on you, and then from there, it's just that's your first job. And once you have your first job, you guys, it is a lot better. It's definitely still difficult finding new jobs, that first one, I think getting over the hump after you graduate college is hard. It took multiple months.
Oh yeah, it does.
To find something.
It takes a while. And
totally.
For me, I started interning very young. I was always trying to find something to do because I knew that the moment that I graduated, it was going to be, okay, 2 to 3 years of work experience. How am I going to have that when I am a college student and I'm not working a full time? So I would kind of change a little the titles, and from intern I would put coordinator. Ooh. And that was like a way to do it. Like you have to finesse the system, because if not, there's no way of getting something, and it is really hard. Like, as you know, like, and I've mentioned, I got a master's, so I thought, oh, it's going to be super easy to find a job the moment that I graduate. It wasn't. And my number one advice is you have to network. That was the way that I've gotten most of my jobs, like all of my jobs except one internship, which that was, I just submitted it. When I did NASCAR, I just submitted it on a whim. Like, I remember it was like December 23rd, and I was with my cup of, like, my glass of wine, and I'm just like, I'm going to submit it and see how it goes. And I got that internship, and it opened the doors to the job that I got here. And then it's just really helped throughout. But networking, you never know the people that you meet, how that's going to connect the dots. So my number one advice is, when you start a new job, when you're interning, go and talk to people, put a good face, study up, because when I was at NASCAR, I was not shy about wanting to work at Formula One. I would go to people and I would be like, I really like it here, but I really want to work in Formula One. And I read the Las Vegas Grand Prix was like up and coming, and I'm like, I read that this agency is going to be helping. Do you know anyone? And that's how I got my job.
That's how you have to do it.
And that's how you have to do it. You have to study, and you have to network, and also make friends. Like, make friends along the way in these different opportunities, because you never know who might help you find that next job and that next opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said about networking, I went to this event while I was in school that had women lawyers, a panel of women lawyers, and from there I met someone who's been a great mentor to me. Networking, like, she's brought me to networking events. I've met other women in the field. I think just having that drive to reach out to someone and push for yourself in the job market is really, really important, because it is, like you said, it's so competitive.
It's very competitive.
It makes it feel like it's bad, and maybe it's not horrible, although I am worried about our jobs getting replaced by AI, but that's a whole other episode.
That's a whole nother thing. Just, AI is really taking jobs.
It really is, and it's hard now.
It's hard, especially with lots of tech jobs are being taken by AI, but also level entry jobs are being taken by AI, because when you think about these level entry jobs, you're doing a lot of filing, and it's assisting, and it's a lot of things that AI can do now, which is really hard within like the youth, like them graduating, trying to find something new, and then layoffs are just happening all over. And I think that's mainly because of AI, and who knows what's next. Here are some stats. So according to Forbes, the unemployment rate for college graduates, which is ages 22 to 27, which we're in that age group, hits 5.6%, well above the 4.2 percentage of the national rate. And then it says that 40% of employed young grads are working jobs that don't even require a degree, which means that they're working in a job that...
Did you go?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it is so important to go to school,
right,
in my opinion.
100%.
But it's very... That's such a weird
Crazy.
Statistic.
Yeah, because you paid all this money for a degree that then you're not using.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Going back to your point with AI, I think that a lot of jobs are starting to change. A lot of new things are opening up, and a lot of like old ways of doing are going away. How do you feel? Do you feel that the 9-to-5 kind of job lifestyle is changing? Is it going away? What's your take on that?
I think it's gradually dying. To be fair, I think that, and even experts say by like 2034, I believe, the 5-to-9 is going to be obsolete. And
2034.
Less
than 10 years from now?
Yeah, literally. And honestly, I do see it, because more and more, and I see it a lot in my industry, I see a lot of people going freelance or independent contracting.
That's true.
Because when you
have control over your own time.
Exactly. Yeah. You have control over your own time. You set the prices. They're putting really high prices, but you also concentrate in specific thing. Like, you're honing in your skills and what you like to do. And so whether that's a graphic designer or production, video production, or even experiential, like, there's so many different things that you're just an expert on, and then you can really put your time, your salary, and there's so many flexibility in that. Also, there are some obstacles, just like everything. Like, you don't get the benefits of like healthcare and stuff like that. But it's like, what do you prefer? But I do see it, especially like even our generation, we're choosing to do a lot of different things and actually do things that we love.
Yeah. I feel like the pandemic kind of caused some of this, because in that you're realizing, okay, what do you have to get back to basics. You could only see your family. You could only go on walks with your mask on or whatever. And I think that has caused a huge mindset shift. And I wonder if that's what's driving this expedited timeline that the experts are saying.
I think so. I think it's a huge part of it was the pandemic, because when the pandemic happened, everybody was working from home. And so that allowed a lot of people to have that experience of what it is to work from home. An experience that people had never really gotten before. And it also showed like you could be productive from home. And so then we went back, right, to non-COVID times. Everything started to normalize, and then companies wanted people to go back, and people are like, why do you want me to go back when I have proven myself that I can do this from my home? And so it's like, wait, I could do this from my home. I could do something else from my home and be as productive, and also like not being micromanaged. And also trust, I think, goes a long way, because
definitely,
as we mentioned, AI, huge factor of people getting laid off, and people don't trust if their job will be there the next year. That's the honest truth. They're like, now we're just numbers in a spreadsheet. It's scary. Well, before it was like our parents, as we talked about last episode, our parents would, have a 9-to-5. That's what they were trained to do. That's the mentality. You'll have a stable job, and there was trust, like, okay, I'll take this job and I'll be there for the next 40 years of my life. But that's not happening anymore.
It's definitely more unprecedented times that we live in. I feel like the job market is changing a lot, and I think people are adapting with it. But it's really a question of, what do you value in your job? How can you use your past experiences to create kind of what your ideal job looks like, and kind of going with that, and also trying not to be afraid that AI is going to take it all away from us. And that's why a lot of people are thinking about, why don't I do my own thing? And do you think that we are kind of romanticizing entrepreneurship because that 9-to-5 just doesn't work for us anymore? I think it's hard to know until you've started to do the thing. I would argue, and I think anyone would, our podcast is a form of entrepreneurship, building our brand. And we're enjoying it. We're liking it. We're learning a lot of new things about it. I think that a lot of people are a bit disillusioned, like we talked about last episode. The times are changing. Things are changing. I think a big thing that's driving it, like last episode's discussion, is finances. It is really hard when your cost of living goes up by so much, but then you're not getting that increase from your corporate 9-to-5. So I think a lot of people in our age range are thinking outside the box on that. And I'm sure entrepreneurship is not easy. I know that you work a ton of hours too.
100%.
But when you're working for yourself, there is a different feeling, and when you're managing your own time, 100%. And I would argue that that's a good thing. But every industry, every entrepreneur is different. And I think just any experience that you get is good. And it's good to weigh your options too. Because you never know what you might like more. Some people might like the stability of the 9-to-5 more. Some people really, really want to do their own thing and are ready to do whatever it takes. But I think a lot of people our age, there's always been entrepreneurs, but there's a lot of new different types of entrepreneurs in the past 5-6 years. It all really started with the 2020 TikTok dances. That's what I'm gonna say.
We should have done. We should have
I
danced.
videotaped it. Do you remember all of those ones?
Oh, I remember.
I did them.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I never even got into it.
I didn't post them though.
No.
But I took them for myself.
I was a late TikTok bloomer. I got TikTok 2023.
Okay.
I wish I would have gotten it back in 2022 because
We could have been famous.
We could have been famous. I had Snapchat for close friends, and that's where I would put this is an episode for another day, but when I came back from abroad, it was during COVID. So I was in lockdown in my own room for like about 15 days. So I would put videos of like my updates, which were great, were so hilarious. People loved them. I'm like, if only I would have not been scared to post this on TikTok, we would be doing this, but in a way higher scale production, not in my apartment.
We could still post them.
Yeah.
A throwback. I'll post I don't have dances.
Them. I mean, I do have my,
They went away with the Snapchat.
Yeah. Maybe they're saved automatically.
You could probably reach out to Snapchat corporate.
Yeah, hey Snapchat, if you ever see this, send me the videos.
And sponsor us, please.
But no, to your point, I think that more and more, because the job market is so hard right now for a lot of people, not especially, young and older people as well. Like I saw a post the other day of a woman who was laid off from a job she had for the past 20 years. And she was like, you know what? She was crying, and then she was like, well, this happened before to other people. I'm going to be able to move forward. And I keep seeing on social people just putting, the job market is so bad that I'm actually going to go and follow my dreams. And I'm like, yes, this is what we actually should be doing. I think one of the most important things is if we have it like in our heart and in our mind, something tells us like, do it, and it's constant, I think you have to take a chance and do it. Like this podcast, I was dreaming of doing this, and then we went on that walk.
Then we went on our walk.
I'm like, podcast? And you were like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do a podcast. I'm like, yes. So it was like, because it's something that I've been always wanting to talk about, because a lot of people have these same situations. And so I think it's important that we do take a risk. I read this quote, don't quote me on it, but like Warren Buffett said, people try for 3 years to build a business and then give up. However, they keep the loyalty to a job working for someone else for 40 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is insane.
Life is all about these choices, and like you said, trusting your gut. I think, unfortunately, there is a lot of people who say, choose the stability, choose the routine. What is your take on following your passions and chasing dreams versus the stability and the usual routine that I think for a lot of years has been the way it is?
I think that you need to follow your dreams and your heart's desire. Is that what they say?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I am a person that if I am not following what, I'm passionate about or what I'm thinking about 24/7, then I get anxiety from it. So then it's even worse for me, because then my mental state is thinking, this can't be it. Like, there needs to be more. And I think that's happening to a lot of people. I think it is important to seek out something you've always wanted to do or wanted to try. And I know it's hard because a lot of people want to be creatives and they're putting like their content on social, and it's like, but this is not for a business. Like, I'm not doing this for corporate America. So how do I even put this on a LinkedIn? And people get satisfaction from just like a LinkedIn post, like, happy to announce, what is it, like the usual, like,
I started
excited
a new job.
to announce that I started a new job. And that for people, in people's mind, there's like that psychology of, oh, then that person is, succeeding. But in all honesty, like, you can be succeeding without having it be in a LinkedIn post. Like, you could be doing your content, and that goes to a lot of content creators. They're not putting this on LinkedIn. Like,
they should, though.
They should. Well,
it's just the way that the world was created, and it's
right.
I think people are really starting to break out of that mold, which I love to see.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to be. I think a lot of people want to be creative. That's where I feel like a lot of people thrive the most.
Yeah.
But it's definitely difficult when you feel like, I can't show this to like the LinkedIn, or I can't talk about this on my resume.
Which they
or like
should, just link it.
It's really sad too when you see, like, for example, let's say a mom coming back to work after a few years. Oh, you have too many gaps in your resume, whatever. But let's say she was making, a lot of moms have been recently making content videos about their babies and stuff. Yeah. But I wonder what proportion of them feel like they can talk freely about that. It's really an interesting world.
It is. But I think they should, because I think that shows, one, creativity. It also shows entrepreneurship. Like, and I know there's a whole thing about don't put your baby on a camera, don't do that. But like there have been a lot of mom blogs in terms of like clothing that they buy or like hairstyles that they do. And it does help other moms as well. Like, you know, do hairstyles for their babies. And I think it's important to show the world like what you're meant to do and how you're creative, and go out there and do it and be happy about it. And it's funny because we're talking about like things that we put on LinkedIn, and I don't know if you know who Fernando Mendoza is. He's probably going to be the number one pick for the NFL draft. He won the Heisman Trophy, and he is like a LinkedIn guy. He doesn't have any social. He only does LinkedIn and I think YouTube, because he watched like the tapes in YouTube of his games. And so on his LinkedIn, he like puts aspiring, like he puts like all his achievements through football, which is great. I'm like, that's what people should be doing.
Yeah.
In also like content creation. So he put like, I think he put when he won the Heisman, he put it like an achievement on LinkedIn. And when he probably gets drafted number 1, he will put it on LinkedIn. And I think that's great. Like people should do that. Like whatever you do,
Totally,
go put it on LinkedIn and be proud of it and show the world. And who cares if it's not like a corporate America new 9-to-5, new job, new promotion. Like,
yeah, anything that's meaningful to you is meaningful, and you can put that for the world to see. I think reinventing yourself doesn't just have to be like a huge thing, you know, it can be small changes in your adult life that lead to a lot of new successes.
Something that I've been hearing a lot is people saying, I want to do everything, but I don't do nothing. I don't know if you've seen that. And it's that I want to do a lot. Like, we're young.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Right. We want to do a lot. We want to do this and we want to do that. But then you're stuck because you don't even know where to get started.
Yeah.
And I think that is happening a lot, especially to the younger generation, where there's a lot of distraction. And they're like, okay, I could be a content creator, but I also want a 9-to-5, or like, you know, because of society, like I want a 9-to-5, but I also want to do this and cook and, you know, all the different things that you can do because the world is your oyster. And so they feel like, I don't even know where to start. And they feel that pressure. And I think it's important that just take the risk. Just do it. Do it scared. Do it without knowing, like this
You're
podcast.
still doing it anyway. Yeah. And whatever it is, to your point, there's a lot of things that we want to do, but start with one thing.
Yeah.
You guys, like, don't try. I've definitely felt like, oh, I wanted, you know, we wanted to do the podcast, but I also want to travel and blog about that. And then I also want to make recipes for cooking. And then I also want to be writing music. Yeah. But it's really scary. But start with something and you will get everything.
Yeah, I agree.
With what we're doing right now, we're starting with our podcast. And if we decide to do additional things in the future or pivot or whatever it is,
so that's the dream.
We have this experience and we're doing something that we wanted to do.
Right. And that feels so good just to know that you're doing something. Like, I'm really happy that we're doing it. Knowing, I tell people, I'm like, yeah, I do a podcast with my neighbor. Like, it feels so good because yes, a lot of people are like, why would you even do a podcast when the odds, you know, of succeeding are low? But it's like, why not?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
If you don't try it, you don't know.
Exactly. Well, in our episode about success, success is our own thing that we make it. So we're succeeding even if we don't have millions of views. We're still talking about these things, these very important issues.
Yeah.
And we have a space, and if we can help at least one person, you know, we've already set out 100% what we wanted to do.
Exactly. And with that, like, talking about this podcast, how we created it, like, really didn't even know what we were doing. Do you think reinvention is something that is planned, or it's something that just happens?
I think it's a mix. I think that you plan to make a change, but you don't totally know. You're kind of going in a little bit blind, at least, what's going to happen on the other side. And I think that reinvention, just parts of it just happen, and you're learning along the way. You're figuring it out along the way, just like adulthood. You can reinvent yourself in a big way. You can totally change career paths, do something new at any age, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Totally, anything. You can reinvent yourself in your 80s. Or you can just have a small thing, a new thing, reinvent yourself with a new hobby or a new interest. And I think that we did plan to start a podcast, obviously, but we also kind of just fell into the rhythm and learned as we go, and we're still learning. So I think reinvention is a mix of planning to make a change and jumping in and, like you said, trusting your gut.
I think that you never know. Sometimes life and the experiences that you go through is what makes you reinvent and do something new. There's so many people that because they're not finding a job, they're seeking other ways to make an income. And whether that's, I've always liked content, let me do this. I saw, what was it? The other day, this woman was actually showing me how this guy that she knew got laid off. And he loves just cars and putting cars together, like old cars, putting them back together and just repainting them, like doing all those things with vintage cars. And he would do it and he would film himself doing these different car remodels, but he would just show them to his family. And this woman was like, why don't you post them like live so people could see them? He was, no, I'm scared, I'm not gonna do it. So he lost his job, he got laid off, and he started posting them because what does he have to lose? Right. And they started getting so many views because it's also such a niche topic. And that's something that wasn't planned. Obviously, he was working on it for a while behind the scenes, but because of the situation of, I just got laid off and I need some type of income, maybe this will start something for me. Know. That's the thing. Like, you just always have to be thinking about what can I do if something happens, right? Or if I'm in this scenario, what is something that I can do to make myself feel happier? Because I know how stressful it is when you can't find a job. I went through that. Like, when I graduated and I was trying to find a job, I was depressed. Like, I went back home because I was like, what am I doing? And I had a job at the time, but it wasn't like a full-time job. So I went back home and I started thinking, I started doing TikToks on sports and it went viral. Like, my video started going viral. And then I got a full-time job and I left it because it was too much time consuming. Should have kept going on that. But it's like, honestly, because also I work in sports, I love sports. Why don't I talk more about Latinos in sports? And something I wasn't planning, it just happened that I was home and I'm like, let me do a video on this. And then it went viral. There's also the famous story of Doechii, the rapper. I don't know if you know her story.
She's so inspirational.
She had a job. I think she got laid off or something.
Yeah. Like 2020
Yeah,
maybe-ish?
she got laid off and she's like, well, tomorrow I'm going to go to the record studio. I'm going to go with my resume and see what happens. I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Look at her now.
Yeah.
Like, it's just crazy how sometimes things happen in life that you're like, why? And we've talked about this before, but they do accelerate you to something even better.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that a lot of people are scared about making the leap unless you have to. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think that society has conditioned us to feel like only go do something you're kind of worried about if you have nothing to lose, i.e. if you don't have the job anymore.
Yeah.
But doing things, making the time for things while you do have a 9-to-5, if that's, your job of choice, then you still should, in my opinion, go for the thing that you want to do. Do the extra side thing or the hobby or learn about a new thing. And you never know what could happen. I think reinvention might happen along the way. I think that a lot of good things will happen along the way. You never know. Like, you were posting your video. You didn't know that was going to happen. It just did, but you were doing something that you loved. And that's the whole point of the story. I think adulthood is so much about intentionality and about making these decisions for your life because no one makes it for you anymore. So you get to charter the own path of your own life for the rest of your life. And it is a bit scary, but it's also very freeing and makes me want to reinvent myself every day in new ways and learn new things.
Yeah, no, that reminded me. I'm like started laughing because that reminded me of the Zach and Cody episode where there's like this speaker that goes and talks and Cody is just like wowed with the speaker and he just goes around telling people, if you can believe, then you can succeed because you are the pilot of your own life.
You are the pilot of your own life.
And it's so true.
Oh my God, literally. Wait, is this on the ship or the normal one?
No, this is the first one. Like when they were still in the hotel, they were so young. Good. And it's such a good line. They don't make these shows anymore because you are the pilot of your life. Like you are the one that determines what you want to do next. And
Yes.
many times we do think that they made us believe that it was going to college, graduating, doing the 9 to 5, and that's totally fine, like, if that's for you. But it's also really hard nowadays to find that night, like, they're making it hard on us to find the 9 to 5.
And to even go and get into schools.
Yeah,
the acceptance rate for colleges is going way lower, like record lows. And there's so many applications. It's also for private schools now. It's about $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
For tuition and room and board.
Yeah.
I just think it's so difficult sometimes. So maybe it is a sign from the universe to try your new thing and pilot your own life.
You do.
Because that's the only way that you can do it.
Yeah. And do go and study. That's very important to get a degree.
Yes.
But also, like, if the 9 to 5 isn't cutting for you, like, if you are looking for another job, and I know how frustrating that is because you work that 9 to 5 and then that 5 to 9, you're doing cover letters. And if you're that girl that you mentioned that she did how many applications? 12,000?
Oh my god, like 2,000
like
or
2,000
3,000 maybe.
Yeah, if you're doing that, then you are doing 2,000 cover letters. You're also tailoring your resume.
Yeah,
that
you have
is
to change them up.
frustrating. And that's also affects your mental health if you're not hearing from them, if you're feeling ghosted. It's like, am I the problem? And I know that feeling because when going back to when I was looking for that job after I graduated, I remember I was so frustrated, and my lovely dad would send me articles, and he's like, look at this article, and it would be an article about how bad the job market was at the time, and he's like, it's not you, it's the market.
Because you internalize it. Like, that's what I would do too. I got so many just ghosts. Like, didn't hear back ever. I would follow up, nothing.
Yeah.
And then some first interview, it's like a screening, and then nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just very demoralizing. But your worth is not measured by your job or the job market or anything except what you feel inside.
100%.
And believing that, earlier you said, if you can believe it, you can make it happen, you can achieve it. You have to think outside the box. And a lot of people, a lot of things that are coming up on Instagram for me are about having these big dreams. And when you're little, they do tell you to dream big.
Yeah.
So as adults, we need more reinforcements of that, because that's how you see all of these entrepreneurs, that's how they made it.
Yeah.
Is by believing in themselves when no one else did.
Yeah.
And believing that they could do it.
Yeah.
And thinking, even if it doesn't succeed, I'm gonna do it. No, but it will succeed. And believing it so much. It's a mindset.
I know we always say this, but it is a mindset.
It is a mindset.
Yeah. And not letting pressure get to the worst of you, because I think that's another thing, because the outside world has trained us to think this is the way to do it. We do get consumed by, okay, then I'm not doing the right thing. And that's the thing with all these entrepreneurs that you're talking about. They didn't care what other people thought. Like, they just went for it. And hey, if it fails, then great, I learned. Congratulations, because a lot of people are scared to fail, and it's because they never even try it. So you try it, and maybe you failed, but that will definitely help you do the next thing. Yeah. And so
failure is success.
And I think the goal should be the experience. I think if you experience it, then you're already succeeding. Many times we obviously and I know we talked about this, but it's like we're doing good if we associate it with a metric, and a numerical metric. But if you did it, if you went for it, that's huge. That's already a win, because a lot of people are in their desks dreaming about doing something, and hey, there might be another person that might not be as smart as that person in that 9 to 5 desk dreaming about it, but they had the guts, the cajones, as I would say, to go and do it. And then they did it, and then they succeeded. And then that person in their 9 to 5 desk is seeing this other person succeed with that idea that they had, and they're like, if only I would have tried it. Yeah. So go and try it.
Yeah, you don't want to look back and have regret. So if you're planning on or thinking about reinventing yourself, this is your sign to try.
Yeah.
Go for it. And whether or not it's planned or it just happens along the way, I think that any type of reinvent, it doesn't have to even be like leaving a job or switching something, but doing new things is a form of reinvention. And when we're stuck in the same patterns every day, that's so important.
Yeah.
Getting a breath of fresh air.
So stop waiting for the perfect time, for the perfect scenario, for knowing everything you need to know to go for it. as Nike would say, just go and do it. Just do it.
The time is now.
The time is now. Like, don't leave it for later.
Yeah.
And so that is what we can say. And if you're going through a really hard time right now looking for a job, like, we understand that. If you won't need anyone to talk to or just like submit anything, we're here, because we know how frustrating that could be. Like, I've cried several times, like, trust me. But networking is honestly my best advice. Reach out to people, like even old professors, old colleagues, like friends. You never know.
Just send an email.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions or want us to answer anything, feel free to add them in the comments. We are always happy to answer and do what we can to provide a little bit of comfort from our couch.
Yeah, literally. Call the 1-800-ADULTING line. We got you.
We got you always. Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys. See you next Thirsty Thursday, because
we know you're thirsty for more. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.